What's up, guys? I got a YouTube video today. I'm just gonna review this trade that we took on July 31st. It was this morning. We're just waiting for price action to see what it handed to us, and we did end up catching this short. We did catch a long as well, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys. The long was more of a feeling, and we actually did end up hitting TP on that long as well. Just a quick note: entry was around here on this price here. And then TP was at this white line, and you guys will see what that is in a second. So we're on trade C here. That's the platform we're trading right now, and then we're gonna go to the daily time frame on here. So I got a few things on here, but right now we're looking at these. Well, not these. This one. So what you guys will note here. Let me zoom in more so you guys can see it a little better. We have this suspension block, so it's again 3 candle move similar to a fair value gap, but we got volume imbalances on both sides. So we got one volume imbalance here, and we got another one here on the lower end, making this block here suspension block. If you guys want to mark that out with the square tool, looks something like this, right? You do the candle bodies, not the wicks. So we got this one here, and then we can delete this one in here for now. This is what it would look like if you guys use the rectangle tool. But here we use the Fibonacci, so I'll mark it out again for you guys. And those lines were the octant lines. I'm not gonna go back and try and get them then there again. But as you guys can see here, this is what this looks like. And then basically we were just waiting for a tap of that suspension block again, which we did get, as you guys can see in here. So that's what we notice on the daily time frame. Here on the 4-hour, not much really, just this 4-hour gap lower, and then this one we're trading in currently. We wicked into the high, and then we dumped down lower. We did want to take this buy side. You guys will see it more clear on the 1-hour on why we chose this one. But obviously, first of all, it wasn't the daily suspension block that high, so that was the first reason why we wanted to take it. And the second reason why we wanted to take this high was we had relative equal highs. We had this high in here and this one in here, and then if you guys want to count this one and this one as well, we had those 4 highs up in there. I'll move this just to make it a little more precise. There we go. So we wanted to take those highs, but we did end up failing to take those highs. We did have this hourly gap, but we didn't notice that until just now. Then again, nothing really here on the hourly. This baby fair value gap in here wasn't really anything we were drawing to. And then this larger one in here that's similar to the 4-hour. Then we go down to the 15-minute. Same thing, right? We have that high in there. Then we have, did we? I don't think it's saved. We didn't draw it out far enough. Okay, so we go down to the 15-minute. Here in the 15-minute, it was a little different. Again, that short was more of the 1-minute time frame analysis that we did, less of the 15-minute. These green lines in here are the regular trading hour opening range gap. I'll show you guys that on the 1-minute time frame. But we did grade that out. We did get close to the 25% level. We tapped more of the octant, the first octant, before we went up for the day. But yeah, we kind of went up. We tapped that suspension block on the daily time frame before we had this move down. We did mark this inversion gap, so this was what kind of helped us with the long. And then we did have this 15-minute fair value gap that we did want a retracement to before we went down. But we didn't end up getting that retracement there. But then we did end up getting this inversion to take this low, but we entered, as you guys can see, way below the inversion, or above the inversion, sorry. And then here's where it gets more, better. We have on the 1-minute time frame, again, right, you can see the first green line here, regular trading hours, and then we have the lower one there. But here on the 1-minute time frame, so first thing we noticed was we did have earlier sweep of liquidities. So we had this one in here and we had this one in here. We did close above those highs, but with this daily suspension block in here, I kind of noticed strong rejection off the tap of this, and we did tap that one of the octants in there, and then we continued lower. We had this premium wick in here that we had on this candle that entered into the suspension block, and as you guys can see, the body's almost respected that suspension block, so that kind of allowed for extra, confidence on this trade. But yeah, tap of the suspension block, this premium wick in here, as you guys can see, we failed to even get to the 50% level or the consequent encroachment of the premium wick. So that was one confirmation that we were going to continue lower. And then we had this fair value gap in here. This is what I had it look like before we had that inversion. This is just a purple box. And then we did end up inversing, or had an inversion of this gap on the 1 minute time frame, as you guys can see with this candle at 9:37. So after the inversion, we did enter just before the inversion. I didn't want to miss the move. The past few days have been no retracement, no taps into those, inversions or fair value gaps and whatever you guys want to say. So I did enter just a bit before the candle actually closed. It was literally like 2 seconds before the candle closed. And then we kind of just caught this move down. This was a nice move. We had almost zero drawdown. The candles were going up, a little bit up, but we had no drawdown on this move. Just this little, I don't know, what is this, $50? But then we targeted this short in here, this low in here, and then we did have the bigger target. Let's see if it stops tweaking out. It's going to be in the higher time frames of this low in here as well. And then obviously you can target the what was this, opening range gap of the day. So there's that on the 15 minute to kind of relate to what we have here on the 1 minute. So again, move up, sweep those previous liquidities, tap into the daily suspension block. Body's respecting that suspension block, barely closing just inside of it. Premium wick respected the consequent encroachment of the premium wick. Even the wick of this next candle failed to even, it reached perfectly to the 75% or the 25% level, which way you want to look at it. And then we had the inversion, enter on the inversion. Stop was just above this inversion gap. You guys could have been safer. You could have put it just above here, or you guys could have put it here. Since this is the candle that respected that premium wick, we chose to put it here. Entry on the inversion. My first target was down here in this low. I did put it just above the low. I put at the bodies. So this is more of what it looked like here. And then after we inverse this first presented gap, this is what this orange box in here is for. As you guys can see, 931, first presented gap of the day. After we did inverse that gap, stop went to break even. And then as you guys can see, the risk to reward was insane on this trade today. Here we caught, what was it, 660, like 230 points. So it was an insane day. And it was only off 5 contracts as well. So as you guys can, you guys can do the math. That was a lot of money to be made today. And we did end up filling the entire opening range gap of the day. And then there were a few entries here you guys could have made. You could have entered on this inversion in here. You guys could have entered actually on this top here. If you guys go on ICT's Twitter, you guys will see he entered there. You could have entered on this inversion. This candle inversed both the first presented and this fair value gap in here. So you guys could have entered there. We had a little fair value. Let me delete this real quick. We had a fair value gap in here. You guys could have entered on this one. And then why do you guys say, why do we put the entry here and not on this fair value gap in here, this one in here, the inversions? First thing I noted was, again, the past few days have been just no retracement. So you guys could have caught this fair value gap in here. Just because, as you guys can see, this fair value gap was around this key level of the opening range gap of the day. So one kind of way I use those ideas to enter on, to ask myself, which fair value gaps do I enter on? If they're around key levels, those fair value gaps are going to be very important. So this is at the start of the opening range gap of the day. As you guys can see, this candle in here was trading there. And then I noted that as well. And as you guys can see, these didn't tap. These weren't around any key levels, but this one in here, opening range gap, we did end up tapping that one before then continuing lower. Didn't get an entry here. Did get the inversion here, right? We have a bunch of inversions in here. and then as you guys can see, we did end up hitting TP. And then let's just do, for example, let's say you guys entered here on this fair value gap, targeting that low just above it, and putting your stop just above that fair value gap. Again, 4-to-1 risk to reward. What's this, a 40-point stop? So it's not too bad, $400 with 5 contracts. And then this low, how many points was this? 570. So again, this is about 130, 140 points. So if you guys entered here again, right, a lot of money to be made today with these shorts. And one more thing to note, just a small thing. We're gonna delete all the things off our charts. So if you guys wanna, remember just what these are, just go back earlier in the video, just remove these drawings. What do you guys notice in here? We're kind of consolidating in here, right? These are just rough drawings. A little bit of consolidation, and then we have the accumulation, right? This is the accumulation, all this consolidation. It's similar, right? Accumulation is accumulating the price in here, and then we have the manipulation higher, and then we have the distribution lower to, again, these lows, this low in here, right? Anything you guys want to target here. So overall, today was a really good day. Friday, last day of the week to trade, last day of the month as well. So let's hope next month is going to be the same towards the end of these few days of the month. And that's it for today. This video will be coming out later in the day. It's not going to be right away. And I'll see you guys next week.